This movie discusses what it takes to get your computer ready to use Visual Studio. There are a number of versions of Visual Studio available for you to download. The first movie in this chapter provides more details about these additions. Regardless of which one you choose, you need to download the installer to your local computer. Like most .NET applications, you can install Visual Studio 2010 on the same computer as older versions, for example Visual Studio 2008, and they will work side by side. It's not really necessary for you to have Visual Studio 2008 on your computer, however, because Visual Studio 2010 supports the same project types. For certain types of development, there are additional tools that you must install. They are not part of the core install because they shipped at a later time. Here's a couple of additional tools you might consider installing. The first one, Silverlight 4 Tools, configures your version of Visual Studio to create the newest version of Silverlight. The second one is called Silverlight Toolkit for Silverlight 4. This contains additional controls and tools for Silverlight development. An exciting twist in the mobile phone wars is Microsoft's new Windows Phone 7. To write phone apps, you have to install the phone developer tools. This supplement to Visual Studio provides the tools you need to create Silverlight and XNA phone applications. It even includes a software emulator of the phone operating system so that you can test the software without having the physical phone. Since it takes about an hour to install Visual Studio, I won't bore you with the actual installing of the software on my computer. Instead, let me walk you through some of the screenshots of the installation process. This is the initial screen you'll see when you start the installer. Click the Install Microsoft Visual Studio 2000 link at the top. Next, it'll show you this setup screen asking if you want to participate in the improved setup experience. I've chosen to click the Yes checkbox here. On this screen, I have to accept the licensing terms. It also tells me which items I'll be installing on the left column. Next, like most installers, it tells you the disk space necessary. There are two basic installs, full and custom. I'm choosing the full install. And as you can see at the bottom, it says I'm going to need 5.9 gigabytes of space on my hard drive. You can pick custom, and then you can disable installing certain components or adding non-standard components. For instance, some of the C++ tools may not be installed by default. Now the installation starts, you can see a list of all the steps that it's going to perform, and at the bottom of the screen is a progress bar showing you where you are in this current step. And finally, I get the success screen which says I've installed the application successfully. At this point, I would suggest clicking on the Install Documentation button so that you get the appropriate help files installed as well. Then this screen asks me where I want to install my help. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Here I can pick which help files I want to install by clicking on the Add links. Once you finish the install, you can run Visual Studio. The first time you run, you'll be greeted with this screen. Your decision in this dialog affects the positions of the tool windows and the keyboard shortcuts that are available to you. For this course, I am using the general development settings. Don't worry if you have picked one of the other choices. I'll show you how to change these settings later. You've got some work ahead of you to get your Visual Studio installed. I'd say that you'll need an hour or so to download and install the required files before you're ready to go. But once you are over that hurdle, you'll be able to create some remarkable applications. I've already got the tools installed, so let's move on to the next chapter.